You know, sometimes in life you gotta learn the art of silence with a twist. I'm talking about when people come at you, trying to pull you into their mess, trying to provoke you, and every bone in your body wants to clap back. You wanna say, "Oh, I got time today." But no, that's when you play it smart. Don't fight back. Fool them. See, the problem is, when you fight back with a fool, you step into their ring, and guess what? That's their home court. They've been practicing nonsense all their life, and you just showed up. You can't win at their game, but what you can do is make them think you're not even playing. That's how you win. You wanna make somebody lose their mind. Stay calm when they expect you to explode. Smile when they want you to scream. Keep moving forward when they try to trip you up. That's not weakness. That's power in disguise. You're not dodging the fight because you're scared. You're dodging it because you already know the outcome and you've got bigger goals to chase. See, a fool feeds on your reaction. They're like fire. They burn hotter when you give them oxygen. Take away that oxygen and they choke on their own smoke. You ever seen somebody arguing all by themselves because you refuse to give them your energy? Oh, it's a beautiful sight. They start stumbling, repeating themselves, getting frustrated because you're not dancing to their song. Now here's the trick. You don't just ignore them. You rise above them. You keep winning in silence. You keep smiling in their face while you work on your success. That way, every time they see you, they're reminded that all their noise didn't stop you one bit. Matter of fact, it made you stronger, and deep down, that burns them more than any insult you could have thrown back. So next time someone tries to drag you into their chaos, don't swing backs, switch the game. Confuse them with kindness, shock them with peace, blind them with success. Trust me, there's no revenge sweeter than watching somebody who tried to break you realize you were unshakable the whole time. Because at the end of the day, the fight they're begging you for, that's just a distraction. Your real fight is with your own potential, and baby, that's the one worth winning. Never stepping into a fool's ring is about understanding that not every battle deserves your presence, your energy, or your time. When someone tries to provoke you, it's tempting to match their energy, raise your voice, and prove your point. But here's the truth. When you step into their arena, you've already given them an advantage. This is their territory. They thrive on chaos, on quick tempers, on words that fly out without thinking. That's their comfort zone. And the moment you join in, you're playing by their rules, not yours. Think about it like this. If you see someone wrestling in the mud, and you decide to jump in, you might beat them, but you'll still walk away covered in dirt. Your reputation, your peace of mind, your dignity, all of it takes a hit. Sometimes winning doesn't mean defeating the other person. It means refusing to get dirty in the first place. The smartest fighters know when to fight, but the wisest people know when to walk away entirely. You can be right, you can have all the evidence, and you can still choose not to engage because the victory isn't worth the mess. When you refuse to step into a fool's ring, you're sending a message without saying a word. You're showing that you value your peace more than proving a point. People who are truly confident in themselves don't need to clap back every time they're challenged. They understand that silence can be a louder statement than words. The person trying to provoke you will expect a reaction. They'll be ready for a verbal back on forth, but when you don't give it to them, you throw them off balance. They can't fight someone who isn't swinging back. And while they're wasting their time trying to figure you out, you're using your energy to keep moving forward. There's also a deeper truth here. Not everyone is worthy of your response. Some people act out not because they have a real problem with you, but because they want attention, validation, or control. Arguing with them only feeds what they're hungry for. You become part of their show, part of their drama. But when you refuse to even step into their ring, you deny them the audience they were hoping for. You make their noise echo back on them, and eventually they'll either quiet down or expose themselves for what they are. It's not always easy. Our pride wants to defend itself. Our ego wants to win the argument. But you have to ask yourself, what am I really winning here? If the fight doesn't improve your life, doesn't grow you, doesn't protect something valuable, then it's not a fight worth taking. Real power isn't about being able to destroy someone in a debate. It's about having the self-control to let the debate die before it begins. Walking away doesn't make you weak. It proves that you've already won the moment you decided your piece is priceless. When you stop stepping into a fool's ring, something incredible happens. You get your time and energy back. Instead of being drained by pointless conflicts, you can pour yourself into things that actually matter. Your goals, your dreams, your relationships, your growth. You learn that not every comment deserves a reply, not every insult needs a comeback, and not every challenge requires a champion. Sometimes, the most strategic move is to let the other person swing at the air while you walk away untouched. So the next time someone tries to bait you into their game, pause. Ask yourself, is this my ring or theirs? If it's theirs, leave them standing there waiting for a fight that will never come. Because your life is too valuable, your vision is too big, and your purpose is too important to waste in battles that don't build you. You're not here to play every game. You're here to win the ones that matter. And the fool's ring, that's not where your victory lies. Controlling your reaction is one of the most powerful skills you can master in life because it shifts the balance of power entirely into your hands. Most people live in a reactive state. They respond instantly to whatever is thrown at them, often without thinking. Someone insults them, they insult back. Someone raises their voice, they raise theirs even louder. But when you learn to pause, breathe, and decide how you're going to respond, you stop letting other people dictate your behavior. You become the one in control, not your emotions, and certainly not the person trying to provoke you. The truth is, people expect certain reactions from you. If they're trying to irritate you, they expect you to snap. If they're trying to embarrass you, they expect you to get defensive. And when you give them exactly what they're looking for, you hand them the satisfaction of knowing they pushed your buttons. But when you keep calm instead, when you smile or say nothing at all, you rob them of that victory. You show them that their words or actions have no real influence over you. That's the ultimate power move, because nothing frustrates someone more than realizing they can't control your emotions. Remaining calm in heated situations doesn't mean you're ignoring the problem or pretending it doesn't bother you. It means you've decided not to let that problem dictate your behavior. Think about it. If you're in the middle of an important project and someone starts throwing negativity your way, what's the better choice? To drop everything and get caught up in their storm, or to keep moving toward your goal while their words fade into the background? Your reaction determines whether their attempt to distract you succeeds or fails. Another part of controlling your reaction is remembering that your emotions can cloud your judgment. When you're angry, upset, or feeling attacked, you might say or do things you'll regret later. But if you train yourself to pause before responding, you give your mind time to think clearly. You might realize the comment doesn't even deserve a reply, or that the situation isn't worth the stress. That moment of self-control can save you from unnecessary damage to your relationships, your reputation, or your peace of mind. Calmness also sends a message about your confidence. When you don't react to every challenge or insult, people notice. They see you as someone who's in control, not easily shaken, and unbothered by petty things. This kind of presence earns respect, even from people who might not like you, because it shows you value your peace more than proving a point. And while others are wasting their energy on drama, you're quietly protecting yours. In the long run, controlling your reaction can change the way you experience life. You stop letting small irritations ruin your day. You stop giving negative people free rent in your mind. You learn to respond with intention instead of reacting out of habit. That kind of discipline doesn't just protect you from other people's negativity. It also helps you handle life's bigger challenges with more strength and clarity. Of course, controlling your reaction doesn't mean you have to be silent forever. There are times when speaking up or standing your ground is necessary. The difference is, you do it on your terms, not as an impulsive reaction to someone else's behavior. You respond from a place of thought, not emotion. And when you choose to act instead of react, your words and actions carry more weight. The bottom line is this: you can't control what other people say or do, but you can always control how you respond. That's your power. The world will keep testing your patience, and people will keep trying to pull you into unnecessary conflicts. But if you hold on to your calm, you hold on to your power, and once you understand that, you'll stop letting anyone else write your story with their actions. You'll be the author of your own reactions, and that's how you win without even fighting. Starving negativity is about understanding that negative people and situations survive off the attention you give them. Just like a fire needs oxygen to burn, drama needs your energy to stay alive. If you stop feeding it, it starts to fade. Most of the time, when someone is being negative toward you, they're not just expressing an opinion. They're trying to get a reaction. They want to pull you into an argument, make you feel small, or shake your confidence. When you refuse to engage, you cut off their supply. You take away the very thing they need to keep going. Think about it like this. If you walk into a room and someone is yelling, the natural reaction is to either yell back or defend yourself. But what happens if you stay calm or simply remove yourself from the situation? That yelling starts to feel pointless. Without an audience, without a target, the noise eventually dies down. This works the same way with people who constantly criticize, gossip, or try to bring you down. The more you react, the more they're encouraged. The less you react, the less power they have over you. Starving negativity also means being careful about where you put your attention. Negativity doesn't just come from people. It can come from social media, the news, or even your own thoughts. If you constantly expose yourself to toxic conversations, pessimistic attitudes, or self-doubt, you're feeding the very thing you're trying to avoid. By controlling what you focus on, you control what grows in your life. If you keep feeding positivity through uplifting people, inspiring ideas, and productive actions, you won't have much room left for negativity to take root. There's also a deeper strength in not giving negativity the satisfaction of seeing you affected. Negative people often feed off visible reactions, anger, frustration, hurt. If they see you upset, they feel like they've won. But when you remain unfazed, you send a clear message. Their words and actions hold no power over you. Over time, they either stop trying or reveal themselves as people who thrive only in toxic environments, which makes it easier for you to distance yourself from them completely. Starving negativity is not the same as ignoring problems. It's not about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about choosing how and when to address an issue. Sometimes silence is the best answer because it keeps you from saying something you'll regret. Other times, you might need to address the problem directly, but you do it on your terms, calmly and with intention, instead of reacting impulsively. The goal is to make sure you're responding from a place of strength, not weakness. One of the most powerful ways to starve negativity is by redirecting your energy. If someone tries to drag you into a pointless argument, put that same energy into working on your goals. If a person's negativity tries to ruin your day, spend time with people who lift you up. Every moment you spend in a negative space is a moment you could have spent building something better. And when you start living that way, you'll notice that negativity has less and less influence over your life. Another thing to remember is that starving negativity requires consistency. You can't just avoid it once and expect it to go away forever. People who thrive on drama often test your boundaries repeatedly. You have to keep holding your ground. Each time you refuse to engage, you make it harder for them to reach you. Eventually, they'll realize their tactics don't work on you, and they'll move on to someone else. At the end of the day, negativity is like a parasite. It can't survive without a host. If you stop feeding it with your time, your energy, and your emotions, it has no choice but to die out. The less attention you give it, the more room you make for peace, progress, and joy in your life. And once you've felt the freedom that comes from starving negativity, you'll never want to feed it again. You'll realize that the best revenge is not winning an argument or proving a point. It's living a life so full of purpose and positivity that negativity can't find a single place to land. Rising above through success is about letting your achievements be the loudest answer to anyone who doubts you, criticizes you, or tries to pull you down. Instead of wasting your time and energy arguing with people who don't believe in you, you focus that same energy on building something they can't ignore. When you succeed, you don't have to convince anyone of your worth. They see it for themselves. And the beauty of this approach is that it turns all the noise around you into background music, while you keep your eyes on the bigger picture. When you decide to rise above through success, you shift your focus from proving people wrong to proving yourself right. That's an important difference. Trying to prove people wrong still keeps your attention on them. Proving yourself right keeps the focus on your own goals and growth. It's not about revenge. It's about building the life you want regardless of who doubted you. And the truth is, success has a way of silencing critics without you having to say a single word. The power in this approach comes from redirection. Every insult, every negative comment, every attempt to drag you down becomes fuel for your journey. Instead of arguing or defending yourself, you use that energy to work harder, learn more, and push yourself further. Over time, the results speak louder than anything you could have said in the heat of the moment. People may forget your words, but they'll remember your wins. Another part of rising above through success is not letting your emotions dictate your actions. If you respond to negativity with more negativity, you stay stuck on the same level as the person trying to bring you down. But if you respond by moving forward, you put distance between yourself and the drama. The higher you climb, the smaller those distractions look. What once felt like a big deal starts to feel insignificant because you're too focused on the next milestone. Success also changes the conversation. When you start achieving your goals, people stop talking about what you can't do and start noticing what you have done. Even those who doubted you may have to acknowledge your growth. But more importantly, you stop caring about their approval because your focus is no longer on them, it's on the life you're creating. That's the real win. There's also an element of discipline in this. Rising above isn't always easy, especially when you're tempted to respond to negativity in the moment. It requires you to think long, term, and ask yourself, will this argument matter 5 years from now? Or will my success be the real answer? When you choose the latter, You're choosing to invest in something lasting instead of something temporary. And it's not just about money or status. Success can mean anything you define it as. It could be personal growth, a stronger mindset, better relationships, improved skills, or building a life you're proud of. Whatever your definition, the point is to keep moving in that direction no matter what noise surrounds you. The more you build, the more you rise above, and the harder it becomes for negativity to reach you. One of the best things about this approach is that it turns negativity into motivation. Every time someone underestimates you, you can turn that into fuel. Every time you're told you can't do something, you can turn it into a challenge to prove to yourself that you can. And when you finally reach those goals, the satisfaction isn't just in proving them wrong. It's in knowing you stayed true to yourself and didn't let anyone knock you off your path. In the end, rising above through success is the quietest yet most powerful form of response. It requires patience, focus, and persistence. You may not get the instant satisfaction of a comeback, but you get something much better, the lasting satisfaction of knowing you built something real while others wasted their time on drama. And when you look back, you'll see that the best answer you ever gave wasn't a speech or a clapback. It was your success story, written by your actions and read by everyone who once doubted you. Letting your wins speak louder than your words is about understanding that actions carry far more weight than arguments. You can tell people about your dreams, defend your capabilities, or explain your side of the story 100 times, but it will never have the same impact as showing them through results. Words can be doubted, twisted, or ignored, but real achievements can't be denied. When you focus on winning instead of talking, you create undeniable proof of who you are and what you're capable of. When you choose to let your wins do the talking, you step away from the constant need to explain yourself to people who may never want to understand you in the first place. Some people don't want to be convinced. They've already made up their mind about you. Arguing with them only wastes your energy. But when they see you accomplishing things they thought were impossible, it forces them to confront a reality they can't ignore. They might still not like you, but they'll have to respect the results. This mindset also protects your energy. Talking too much about what you're going to do can actually drain the excitement and focus you need to do it. There's a reason why some of the most successful people move in silence. They don't announce every move or share every plan. They put their heads down, work hard, and let the finished product make the statement. By keeping your focus on execution rather than explanation, you stay productive instead of getting distracted by opinions or criticism. There's also a psychological advantage to letting your wins speak. When you don't respond to negativity with words, you create mystery. People start wondering what you're working on, what you're planning, and how you're able to stay calm under pressure. That curiosity often keeps them paying attention, even when they claim not to. And when your results finally come to light, the impact is far greater because they weren't expecting it. Letting your wins speak louder than your words also teaches patience. Success rarely happens overnight, and in the process, you may be tempted to defend yourself along the way. But holding back and trusting that your results will be enough builds self-control. It trains you to think long-term instead of seeking instant validation. This discipline pays off, not just in silencing critics, but in building the kind of success that lasts. It's important to remember that your wins don't have to be huge public achievements. They can be personal victories, becoming healthier, improving your mindset, creating better habits, or building a peaceful life. These are wins that don't require an audience to be meaningful. Even if nobody else sees them, you will feel their impact, and that confidence will naturally show in everything you do. And if others do notice, It's even more powerful because you didn't have to broadcast it. One of the best parts about this approach is that it flips the script on your critics. Instead of being pulled into their negativity, you stay focused on progress. Instead of proving your point in an argument, you prove it in reality. The people who expected you to fail end up having to watch you succeed without you ever having to say, "I told you so." That's the kind of quiet satisfaction that lasts far longer than any verbal comeback. Over time, letting your wins speak for you builds a reputation. People begin to associate you with results, with follow through, with achievement. You become known not for what you promised, but for what you delivered. And that kind of reputation opens more doors than arguments ever could. Opportunities tend to find people who are consistent, reliable, and proven by their actions. In the end, this way of living is about valuing results over recognition, progress over proving a point. You stop seeking approval from people who don't matter and focus instead on building a life that speaks for itself. When you operate this way, your silence becomes strength, your patience becomes power, and your results become your voice. And that voice will be louder, clearer, and more convincing than any words you could have spoken.